All right, good evening, everyone, and welcome to Tea with Doug G. If you don't know, my name is Doug Gooden, and ladies and gentlemen, tonight I am so honored to have my incredible guest, the amazingly talented Miss Niki Neiconi. Am I saying that right?
Yes, you are. It's Neigh like the horse and Coney like the island, so you got it.
Wonderful, wonderful. All right, well, Nikki, why don't you take just a second, tell the folks who you are, what you do, all that jazz, and yeah, we'll just go on and get started.
Yeah, so what's up, guys? My name's Niki Neiconi, as you've already heard. I actually just graduated from UGA with an
Go
MIS.
dogs.
Go Dogs, that's right, always. And I just graduated with MIS in music business. I'm in a band with one of Doug's teammates on this podcast named Elijah Walls. We have a lot of fun together, so that's always fun. I'm trying to come up with new music, living at home back in Gwinnett County, trying to figure out the next steps of life. I currently work at Orange Theory right now, which is why I'm dressed like this. So, just doing the best I can.
Well, awesome. Aren't we really?
Oh,
When it gets down to it, aren't we all?
especially
All right.
right now. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, Nikki, without further ado, let's get right into it, okay?
Let's
All
do
right.
it.
So, first things first, friend of the show, Katie Kenjimi, always gives us some of the best questions that we have. And Katie wants to know, in a fist fight, what cartoon group do you think could beat the Looney Tunes?
That's a tough one, Doug. I'm gonna say that's a tough one. However, I don't know if it's a group of cartoons, but I think personally Squidward alone has the
That's what
most.
I'm thinking.
Really?
That's exactly what I'm thinking. I'm thinking, well, clearly the SpongeBob universe can take on the Looney Tunes,
And
but Squidward will go to town on somebody.
oh, I know. So, that's what I'm saying. Like, why waste all our energy on all these SpongeBob characters when we could just take out Squidward, and just make him take on the Looney Tunes.
Exactly. And hey, even for a deeper cut, if we're dealing with normal Squidward, he's still going to win the fight. But if we have handsome Squidward, like it's not even a matchup. There's nothing. It's over before it's even thought of.
You're so right, Doug. Actually, I did forget about handsome Squidward. And Doug, I didn't realize we could get some live chats in here, but hello.
Oh yeah.
So fun. Thank you, Mary Tyndall, for commenting on my hair.
Hi, Mary. Katie, great question to get us started off with. So Nikki, so I know that you have a couple questions you would like to ask me.
Oh, of course.
So let one fly.
Let one fly. All right, I got some stuff written down for you, Doug. So,
all right.
Dogs or cats? I have to ask. I have to ask. I need to know.
I'm about to lose a lot of friends.
Let's do it.
All right. So I love dogs. I do.
Okay.
They're great. They're man's best friend. But I prefer cats. For just a couple reasons. One, I like the fact that cats are just so self-sufficient.
Yes.
And I know me, that's one thing that I like to think I do very well is I'm very self-sufficient. So I feel like cats and I have kind of a camaraderie when it comes to that skill. So yeah, dogs are great. My mom is saying that Trixie, which is her dog, is here. I'll throw her comment up on the screen. So my mom is saying that Trixie, which is her dog, is the best dog ever. That's actually a lie. Trixie is actually a demon hellspawn.
Not a fan. I can see.
Yeah, and hey, I said on the internet, so it's always going to be there.
It really is here, and you know what? That's fair. I used to be the biggest dog lover. I was a fanatic. I literally told my sister, if it's not a dog, if you don't bring a dog into this house, then I don't want any other pet you have. It has to be a dog. And then during Corona, of course, naturally, we got a cat. And
Yeah.
he acts like a dog. He has that same personality. His name's Rocky. He's the cutest ever. And I might have to agree with you. I just really might have to.
Yeah. I get that the joke is always like dogs are better than cats, but cats really do like fend for themselves. Like they do it all on their own. So yeah. Yeah.
I once
Well, great
joke. Sorry, yeah. Can I tell you this one joke I heard really quickly?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Someone told me one time, like, cat men are the best men because they finally found an animal that they can't control. And I've been thinking about that a lot lately. And I'm just like, where are my cat men here?
That joke is both real and also it's real. It's accurate. Yeah. Great point.
Yeah.
Also, great question. So just kind of going into it, to another question that we got in. A mutual friend of ours, a friend of the show, my technical supervisor for this show, Mr. Ben Tankersley. So Ben asks, who of all the cereal mascots out there, who would win in a fight amongst all of the cereal mascots? So just to kind of like give you like some information. So like you have like Toucan Sam, the Trix Rabbit, whoever the Cocoa Puffs guy is. You do have Tony the Tiger. You have Count Chocula, Frankenberry. Just so who do you think?
Who do I think would be the best in a fight?
Yeah, who do you think is going to win the fight?
Ooh, that's a real tough one. Tony the Tiger's a little aggressive. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, he's like, go Tigers. Yeah, exactly. I mean, even Logan said Tony the Tiger. So if Logan says it, it must be true. So
yeah. And also I feel like Logan's hair is the closest thing to a tiger's.
Absolutely.
So I mean, I'm inclined to agree with you. I think Tiger as well.
Perfect. I do miss seeing Logan's hair now that I'm not in Athens anymore. I know it's getting longer, and I'm missing this. Allie's Kool-Aid Man.
Oh, okay. So Kool-Aid Man's not a cereal guy, but I think if we included him, I think he might be a contender.
I think he might. I think he's pretty.
Just so everyone sees that.
I mean, he's just bouncing all around the place, like trying to get people to drink the Kool-Aid. So
yeah, and when like you think the battle's over, and then all of a sudden, just out of nowhere, you just hear, "Oh yeah,
Allie, you make some good points here. You make some really good points here." So
yeah. Oh, and then we have, I think the Trix Bunny is hiding his dark side. I did not think cereal mascots were going to be the thing that got us into a heated discussion.
Could be.
Yeah. But yeah, great question, Ben. So Nikki, I'll throw it back to you. What's a question you got?
What's a question I got? Okay, Doug, I do have some more questions, and one of my big ones is, who continuously inspires you on the daily, and why do they inspire you?
That's a great question. So there are a couple people. So first and foremost, this is gonna sound really cheesy, but like both my parents, like my mom and my dad, are so like. First of all, they're such strong-willed individuals. My mom will not, if she has something that she wants to do, that she is passionate about, that she feels led to do, she will literally chase it down until it is done, exactly the way it needs to be done. And then my dad is really, he really is everything I aspire to be in a man, because he's a hardworking, humble individual. He has his beliefs, his values, and he stands strong in them. So definitely both of my parents. And there is a third one that I'm going to say. My aunt, Paige Long. again, one of the strongest people I've ever met. So determined, and also she's one of the people who just understands like certain things with art and food and like and music and films. Like she's a person
Mhm.
who I connect with on such like a deep level about
Mhm.
the things that I find really important in life. So yeah, I think if I had to narrow it down, I would say definitely those three people
That's
like
so sweet.
continuously inspire me every single day.
Aw, I love to hear that. So family centered, Doug.
Yeah, yeah, and it sounds really cliche and cheesy, but you know, hey, cliche and cheesy for a reason.
For a good
But
reason. We're not mad at you for it.
yeah. Okay, so Elijah, one of your fellow bandmates,
Of course.
so Elijah sent in a bunch of questions.
I saw.
Yeah, all right. So Elijah wants to know, who do you think is the most overrated artist, and who do you think is the most underrated artist? And then I also have a question that I want to ask on the back end of this that that Elijah didn't ask, and it's not really related to this question, but it made me think of this.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The most overrated artist, if you ask me, oh, this is a hard one just because I'm going to make a lot of people angry today. Just like you did with the dog question, but
Nikki, this is the internet. People don't get mad on the
right,
internet.
right. That stopped happening nowadays. But the most overrated artist I would have to say is simply put Ed Sheeran. I
Ooh, that's a deep cut.
I hate
Uh,
to do it, but he's talented, but his songs have the same exact plot to it every single time. Hook, line, and sinker. That's it. All the time. And yes, he has good meanings, but like, it's kind of bland. We're getting
you
tired.
want some variety. You want some variety. You want him to mix it up.
And he does, but sometimes he just does the wrong thing in variety. Like, he had a really good song with Skrillex, and it was, I don't remember the name of it, but I've seen him live 3 times. So it's not that, like, I'm just saying it because I'm a hater or whatever, but like, and he's a talented guy, but like, I don't know. I just think people give him a little too much credit sometimes for what he is. And like, he's like been number one, like top 10 in the world for like so many years. And I just don't understand why. It's literally just an acoustic guitar playing song. That's it. And that's probably my music too, but it's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think that's a fair point to make. Uh but yeah. Okay, well, second part of that question, who do you think is the most underrated artist?
100% Bronze Radio Return. I have stood by them since I was 14 years old, and simply put, nobody likes them. They have never gotten famous, and they have some fantastic songs that really have the potential of like Mount Joy, Rainbow Kin Surprise fame. And if you're watching and listening, you should listen to Shake, Shake, Shake by Bronze Radio Return right now. That's just the hook, line, and sinker right there. And then you'll get onto it. Worth Wondering is a really beautiful song. I don't know. I just think they're great, and nobody's given them the attention that they deserve. And here I am making a public statement about it. So please sponsor me, Bronze Radio Return. Give me a free concert ticket.
Yes, yeah, that's one of my favorite things to do with this show. You know, just plug all the stuff that you really like, and then hope that they return on it later on.
Of course.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's a great question from Elijah, but I have a question that I kind of want to ask. It's not really related, but it made me think of this. So,
Mhm.
so Nikki, so there are a couple. So there's always this kind of connection between film and music, and you know, I'm a big movie guy.
Of course.
And you know, there are certain albums that have been made into films. You know, Pink Floyd's The Wall comes to mind. I feel like Yellow Submarine, that that was made. And then also you have this infatuation with biopics about musicians,
Mm-hmm.
like Walk the Line with Johnny Cash,
Yeah.
Ray with Ray Charles.
Mm-hmm.
So Nikki, so this is my question for you. Is there an album is there an album or a person in the music industry that you think would make a fantastic movie? So
Yes.
either an album that you think just tells a fantastic story that you would like to see on film, or an artist who you think deserves to be seen on film.
So absolutely, Doug. I have to say I think about these things a lot of the time, so I do always have the answers ready in my head. But Viva La Vida or Death and All His Friends by Coldplay. That is one of the most perfect concept albums I've heard in a long time, and I've liked it since I was in 8th grade, and I still listen to it in that continuous flow. And if you guys don't know what a concept album is, it's just an album that goes from start to finish. It's kind of like in similar keys, and it kind of goes from one song to the other, and it's all like managing a similar theme. And there's just like, we got Cemeteries of London, we got 42, we have Death and All His Friends, we got Strawberry Swing. I mean, it's all over the map, and I just think it's such a beautiful story that unfolds, and that's the album, of course, that Viva La Vida is on. So I would love to see something on that, because I think there's a really great story there. And another one, actually, this album just came out, but it's one of the most perfect albums I've heard in a really long time, and it's the Dreamland album by Glass Animals. And my friend Jordan was telling me all about it, and she was saying, sorry, I just ate. And so Jordan was telling me that this guy who wrote the album, I can't remember his name at this point in time, but his friend got in a really bad car accident. So he was just writing this whole album when his friend was dying and healing. And so you think it's like a love album, but it's so much more than that. And it's also a really great concept album, crazy. And like Heat Waves, Dreamland, like Hot Sugar, Tangerine, like these songs on the album are just so vibrant. Like, have you ever seen the poster for that?
I don't know. I will say I certainly am very opinionated about music. I certainly love listening to music, but I have such a horrible memory when it comes to remembering like artists and albums.
Yeah. So I'm gonna send you the link after the show, Doug, and you're just
please do.
To it in full effect. But this album is just so many colors, like, and it's all over the place, but it still has that one central theme. So I think concept albums would definitely be like ideal. And my friend Jeffrey, who is also in music business with me, said yes, and I'm so glad you agreed to that. But I love to hear that people are on here.
Yeah. I love just how active the chat is tonight. It's great.
It's great.
Yeah. Well, Nikki, I'll throw it back to you. Why don't you hit me with a question?
Doug, I have so many questions for you. And one that I want to start with is, what do you miss the most about like pre-corona times?
All right. I actually have had this answer really since COVID started.
Oh,
and
no.
it's a really dumb thing.
Okay.
Like it's really stupid. But I really miss back when COVID wasn't a thing, and I could just go to Walmart at like 3 a.m. and just walk around and no one was there. And it would be that depressing, just white light that's over everything. And I could just kind of walk around, have headphones in, listen to music, and do nothing that meant anything in the grand scheme of things. But now I can't do that.
So you're one of those people. So you're one of those late night
people.
So that's what you miss the most about pre-corona, is being that person to walk in there unseen, unheard of, all over the place.
Yes, and it sounds really pathetic when you say it back to me, but it really is the thing. If I had to pick something that mattered in life, I definitely miss like getting together and just hanging out with my friends at the drop of a hat. Hardcore miss that. But no, like since COVID started, I've just had it in my head. I'm like, I really miss being able to just go to random places at like 3 a.m. and just walk around and just do nothing for like an hour.
And you know what? That's fair. And I don't disagree with you at all. Like, that is a luxury.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Great. Yeah. Well, great question. And actually okay, my mom makes a great point because my mom said that she thought it was going to movie theaters, and that's definitely a close second.
Aw.
But there's still something about 3 a.m. Walmart that just hits different.
It hits different. You know what? Fair enough. I do think movie theaters are open now. Not that I recommend anyone go to them, because personally I would not. But
yeah, definitely proceed with caution.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, on the topic of COVID, Elijah sent another question. So Elijah wants to know, if you had to like narrow it down to one or two things, how do you think that COVID has affected you and your music making process?
We missed out on a lot of shows. And sometimes being with the guys, like just together in that creative space, like going up on stage, like it's a different experience every time, you know, like it's never going to be the same thing. And it just kind of like brings a new like layer to our band and whatnot. And so like, I think we take that creativity, I think we like take that learning and understanding from like the audience, and we put that like back into our music, and we learn like for our next show, what to do this next time, you know, like just trying to figure things out one step at a time. And so obviously every single musician is like talking about the live aspect and how they've been so negatively affected. And, you know, it's not just us, of course, but I do think it hits the smaller artists a little harder. And I definitely think some of my music business friends would definitely attest to that as well. And just like having to leave Athens has been hard. And sometimes like, here's my thing, Doug. I like to take off. I like to take inspiration from people around me, from experiences around me, just from like things in my horizon, like people I meet, people I know, like human interaction, human experience, and story. And so when you're living in your parents' house, who I absolutely love, thank God that they let me live in here, you know, like absolutely grateful for that. However, when you live in that, you're not really seeing people your age, you know, like I live in a suburban town. You're not really going to get those experiences that you want. Yeah. Like I work at a gym and I don't meet people, like very many people that are my age. And, you know, like a lot of my songs are taken from my love life, and there's really no space for that right now. So just to be honest with you, that's where I'm at right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think you make a great point. I mean, I think just in terms of like how people create art in general, I think that's been one of the biggest hits that has been had since the start of COVID. So you kind of started to talk about this. What would you say is? So you talked about like some of your like primary drives that like help you to write songs and things like that. So people listening, I don't know if you knew this, but Niki has an album out called Uni, and you can listen to it on Spotify. We'll plug it again at the end. But like behind that album, what would you say was like the driving force behind that? Like, if you had to pick like a central theme that you were going for, or a central idea that sparked that album, what would you say it is?
I'd say it's freshman year of college. So freshman year of college, it was just such a different experience for me than anything I've experienced. Like in high school, I used to come home, you know, like do my work, you know, up until like 9 every single night, just be on my laptop or like be writing notes and everything. And like, then I'd go to tennis. But then when I got to college, it was totally different. I was hanging with my friends every single night of the week. We were getting pizza at 2 a.m, you know, like we were going out to eat. You know, I lived like right down the hall from boys, you know, it's something that I've never done before other than my little brother, you know, like and like you live with 900 people in a dorm. You're away from your parents for the first time. Like you get to experience different things. And like for me, it wasn't like anything crazy or anything bad, but it was just like a different feeling. And so, I had my experiences like meeting, new guys like freshman year. I had my experiences like with my mental health and whatnot. And it's different living on your own. Simply put, like it's harder. And so things will weigh on you more, but things also feel so much freer in a sense too. So I really felt both of those extremes at once. And so the album is a play on words. So it's uni with a one, just like my name. And so it's also uni with a one because it's supposed to be you and I, like you and I.
Mm-hmm.
So like a little play on the romantic thing. And like uni is a short version of university. So I thought it was creative. Maybe not everyone gets that. The reason I have 1K is like my name is N1KI is because I have 1K in my name.
Yeah.
I don't spell it like Nikki. Some people don't know that. They're like N1 Kai, N1KI. What are you? And I'm like a robot. And I'm like, no, just Nikki.
Yeah.
Sorry, I kind of got a little off topic there, but
no, trust me, you're good. Well, good deal. Good deal. Yeah. Well, first of all, love the album. I've times though.
You have,
but yeah. But yeah. Well, great question, Elijah. Nikki, I'll throw it back to you. Why don't you hit me with another question?
I actually was meaning to ask you, how do you feel now that you're not on the Georgia screen, dancing at the football game?
Ooh.
That is such a big part of your personality that I am really sad to see that have gone.
That's a timely thing because I don't know if you knew this, but they did distribute student tickets this year. They just distributed student tickets. I got one ticket to go to one game to Mississippi State. And it was definitely like weird to let sit in. Like, okay, well, it's really real now. I'll be honest. Like I half expected us to get to the point where they were asking it and they would just say, so we're actually not gonna do. Like I was half expecting that to happen.
I was expecting that as well.
Yeah. But now we're at the actual point where I'm having to just kind of accept the fact that no, there's going to be one game that I get to dance at in my senior year at UGA. And you can look at that as like a negative thing, look at it as a sad thing, but I almost look at it as like a challenge. Okay. Like okay, you have one game, so you out with a bang.
Yes, you do.
So that's what my thinking is going into it. That being said, still don't know what might happen.
We never know.
Football is still up in the air, if we're being honest.
It is, really.
But we shall see.
I do have a follow-up question on that, actually.
Yeah.
How do you think UGA is handling coronavirus for its students, faculty, and just Athens residents in general?
That is a great question. So half of me wants to say as best they can. The other half of me wants to be realistic and say, no, I don't think that some of the choices that have been made were the best. I mean, I'll be honest with you, when you put out a notice to all of your students that says, hi, we're going to come back in person classes, we're going to expect you to self-quarantine when need be, we're going to expect you to social distance, to wear a mask on campus.
Yeah.
I mean, that's expecting, that's not even being optimistic at that point. That's being blissfully ignorant.
Absolutely is. And a lot of people say ignorance is bliss, but I say ignorance is dangerous because it really is. Yeah. But I'm glad you're being real.
Yeah. yeah, and I think going forward, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I feel like if we had started off going just straight online, I personally have never understood why we said we're going to start in person and then finish the semester online after Thanksgiving. That to me doesn't make a whole lot of sense. If we
Relatable.
had said, if we had say gone from the start of the year to say midterms fully
Mhm.
online, that would have made sense. That
Exactly.
I could make that make a lot more sense than this.
Than this,
But
yeah. If
way
you want
above my pay grade.
not not for long, Doug. Not
Yeah.
for long. You never know what happens in this life.
Ooh, ooh, we shall see. That's a big if, but
I am
yeah.
sorry to make you talk so much, but I do have another question. What is your dream job? Like everything put aside. I know I've asked you 3 in a row. I'm sorry, but I just really like you're such a
Trust
great
me.
public speaker.
Well, thank you, but trust me, you're fine. I'm always down to be. So, man, I don't know that I have like necessarily one dream job. I know that one day in my life I want to be at a place where I can perform for a living. I want to
Yes.
be at a
Please.
place where I can act or direct just for a living. That would be phenomenal. But even then, I don't have anything that's like set in stone. That's like I want to work for this company or I want to do this.
Mhm.
Uh, However, I do have what I want to do for retirement.
Okay.
Um,
Let's hear it.
it's really dumb, but I've always known that this was what I wanted to do for when I retired. Um, and like most things dealing with retirement, this requires me to make a lot of money in my career.
Mhm.
So
Of course.
so we shall see. But grew up in Americus, Georgia. There wasn't a lot to do or anything to do.
No.
That's the better answer. But growing up, there was one place that I always loved going, and it was our really crappy home theater or our local movie theater.
Uh-huh.
And it was in terrible condition. It was always dirty, but it was our movie theater. It was like the place where you go to hang out. And
Yes.
I loved it. And it closed down the year before I graduated high school. And since it closed down, I was like, no part of me ever wants to live in Americus, Georgia again. If you're
Mhm.
watching from Americus, Georgia, I'm very sorry, but like, you
Sorry,
know,
guys.
um, like no part of me
I
wants to
do.
live in Americus, Georgia. But at one point in my life, I want to have the funds and the resources to go back and refurbish that theater, like make it a lot
Yeah.
better for the generations after me, so they can come and
Yes.
watch movies.
I love
Uh,
that, Doug.
yeah, because I love that really old, quaint theater,
No,
and
for
I've
sure.
always wanted I've always wanted it to be better than it was.
And I can only hope the same, people feel the same way about the Cine in Athens too. I feel like it's a little slice of home for
Yeah.
everyone. So I love that you said that because, donate to the movie theaters, donate to your local businesses.
Yes. Yes, please do. Like they are what hometown or the place where you live, they are what make it unique and give it the character that
True.
they have. All right. Well, Nikki, I have two final questions for you, but we're gonna break them up.
Okay.
So I'll ask one question. I'll throw it back to you, and then I'll ask my
Okay.
final question.
Sounds good.
All right. So mutual friend of ours. He's been active in the chat. He
Love
has
it.
some of the best hair on the face of this earth. Mr.
Logan
Logan
Grunenfelder.
Grunenfelder.
Of course.
Logan wants to know, Nikki, what makes a song a bop? Is it bound by genre? Or what are the specifications? What makes a song a bop?
okay, I had a music teacher tell me that there is no formula to writing a good song. And while there might not be an A squared plus B squared equals C squared type formula, there is a difference between bops and just other songs. And just simply put, it is the way a hook, a chorus, or a bridge hits. And I know you're like, Nikki, that's every song. However, if it is distinctly different, not like distinctly, but just like, there's like this thing in music, like when you're producing, it's called the wall, like, of sound. And you want to encapsulate everything and make it feel so like you're in the music. Like you're completely in it and you're feeling it all around you. And it's full. And so a lot of times, like, good production, key to that, good vocals. And what I mean by good vocals is not like you're an a cappella singer or you're an opera singer and you are amazingly on key. No, it's just if the tonality of it is good and you can hit the notes. If you have that, and if you have, to me, it's genre-less. Like, today I was thinking about the song Never Really Over by Katy Perry. And I was like, that's a bop. And then, of course, because it is the 21st night of September, I was thinking about the song September by Earth, Wind & Fire. And it's just
as you should.
As I should, you know? And it's just the way each song keeps you encapsulated. Like, if you can find yourself singing the next line of the song before you even know the next line of the song, like, and if you just find yourself, like, wanting to, like, just, like, dance along to it a little bit, you know? And I know that's not really the most world's clearest answer, but there really is, like, a difference in, like, some songs that sound full and some songs that sound like they're missing certain pieces.
Yeah,
and so,
absolutely.
Like, to me, a chorus is like a pretty little bow tie that you have on top of each song. And if it is catchy, if it is, like, creative with melodies, with instrumentals, with the production, with your vocals especially, I think your vocals have to definitely stand out in the chorus. If, like I said, if you're out here singing the next line of a song before you even know it, you've got a bop on your hands.
I think that's a perfect answer. Thank you so much for that question. That's great. My hair's doing dumb things right now. Well, thank you. All right. Well, Nikki, why don't you hit me with your last question, and then I'll give you my last question.
One last question. So I'm inspired a lot by relationships, you know, like love, dating, and whatnot, my experience, my mental health. What is an example of one of your worst date stories, or, you know, just like a terrible, like, romantic situation that you've been in one time? Like, what is a story that you have for us? Because I tell my stories through my music all the time, and I do actually spill all the tea all the time at every concert of mine. Wink, wink, if you want to come. So what's your inspiration? What gets you, like, creative?
All right. So what gets me creative? Not necessarily like what's my worst, like, relationship story, because there's really only two relationship stories, and they're both terrible. But
see, if it wasn't the relationship story, then it could be the latter question. You know, what inspires you on the daily? I know you said your parents are someone who do that for you, but, like, artistically.
Yeah. So I have this. I had to do it for a class, and it's called and it was called my artistic manifesto. And I don't know that I would call it my artistic manifesto now, but I do have, like, kind of belief that just makes me want to create art and just create content in general. Yeah. And that's this. You know, life, for lack of a better word, sucks about 90% of the time. And I get that. Everyone gets that. And the reason I want to create art is because I think if I can just give you just 10 minutes, just 5 minutes of a break from all of the struggle that life is, if I can just give you just a little bit of a break and make you laugh, make you have just a little bit of joy, then I am satisfied in my desire to create art. That's
That's cool,
that's
Doug.
yeah, that's why I try to create stuff.
I love that. I think that's a great answer. And life is heavy, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Having a
Uh
release,
say that again?
having a release, you know, for your
Yeah.
feelings and emotions is very nice. And I absolutely feel that.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, Nikki, we got all the way here. We got to the end of the show. I just have one question for you.
Ask away.
And you're in a band called Nikki. Is it just called Nikki, or is it called Nikki 1K? Because when I first met you, I just said Nikki 1K for like a year and a half.
You can call me whatever you want. You know how Kesha has the $ in her name, but we still call her Kesha?
Yeah.
That's how it is too. When I introduce people, like myself, to people at college my freshman year, people will remember if I said my name's Nikki, but with 1K, and so they'd be like, "Oh, that's weird," like interesting. But so that's what caught on to people's minds. So I said, why not incorporate that into a stage name? And so it's Nikki with 1K, whatever you want to call me. I don't mind.
All right. Well, you have your band,
Mhm.
and if I'm correct, the members in your band are obviously you, Mr. Elijah Walls, Mr. Logan Grinenfelder, and your drummer Peter Zuniga. Is that how you pronounce his last name?
Zuniga, yes. I pronounced it
Zuniga
too, so no worries.
Yeah. All right. Am I missing anyone?
Nope.
I think that's your three. Yeah. All right. So I gotta know. Elijah, Peter, or Logan, who's your favorite?
What? Doug, what kind of question is that?
It's the last question.
There's simply no answer to that, and I will never reveal who is my favorite because I don't have one. I do have a favorite instrument in the band, but not a favorite like musician. Like Elijah's so funny, and he's got that like low key dark humor, like that will say something to just make you laugh. Logan's just goofy all the time, and he's so talented at everything he does, and he can read my mind musically, and I really appreciate that. Peter just has the best like good energy ever, and he's just always so excited, and like so ready to play, and it's like, how can I pick a favorite, Doug? I cannot be held to this, accountability here.
It's okay, because that was the answer I was going for.
Good.
I texted Elijah this, and I said, "Hey, I think I want to finish the show with this question. Do you think she'll get A, or do you think it'll be funny?" He said, "No."
No, always ask me the questions. I'm an open book. And what I was going to say is, I do think the bass guitar in every musical band is absolutely underrated. So listen to your bass lines, everyone.
Yeah. It's funny you actually mentioned the bass. When I was in high school for worship band, I played worship band 2 years, and I played bass. And like coming out of high school, I was like, I gotta keep that up because I really did love playing the bass. But I didn't and lost it. Yeah, college, it'll do it to you. Well, Nikki, thank you so much for being on the show. Did you have a good time?
I had a great time. Thank you for having me.
Well, awesome. Well, Nikki, before you go, why don't you tell the folks where they can find your music? We've talked about it a lot, where they can find your album. Yeah, just stuff like that.
Yeah, thanks once again, Doug. This was very fun. I do enjoy talking and especially dishing out tea with Doug G. But you can always find me anywhere. I'm super accessible. My Instagram is just and my name, Niki Neiconi, Neiconi. So I'm there on Instagram. Ask me questions. We'll have a fun time. We'll be friends. I like to make friends very quickly. You can find me at Orange Theory during the weeks because that's where I work right now. You can find me also on Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, any streaming platform of your personal preference under N1KI. And if you listen to it, let me know your favorite song. I actually do have a lot of things up in the works with my band. I really do want to release. So what I released was an EP called Uni, as Doug was saying. And I really do want to release a whole full-length album. So stay in contact if you're interested. But thank you again, Doug. You're a rock star. I really had fun tonight.
Well, happy to do it. Also, just for the record,
Yes.
if you're curious, my favorite song that Nikki's written, my favorite song on her EP is "Give Me a Chance." It's, I think
Classic.
it's a bop. I think it's a bop.
Thank you, girl.
But yeah, everyone watching, thank you so much. Thank you to the chat. Y'all have been great tonight. If you're watching, be sure to like and follow Viter Media's Facebook page and Instagram page. And if you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like and subscribe. Click the bell icon. I'm sorry that I'm having to do this, but we're trying to flesh things out here. Be sure to keep an eye out for Setting the Scheme, new episodes every Wednesday, and The Flea Pit, new episodes every Friday. Thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. My name's Doug Gooden, her name's Nikki, and this has been The Tea.
Woo! Bye, y'all.
Thank y'all very much. Y'all have a great night.
See ya.
Oh, wait. Okay.